I would like to meet my doppelganger, but they're probably just eating Doritos chips and watching too much of The Office. A family's vacation is ruined when they are attacked by people who look just like them. Hey everybody, my name is Justin and I love to watch movies, and if you guys love to watch movies too, you are in the right spot. Consider hitting that subscribe button and that bell notification down below so you guys don't miss any of my up and coming videos. Today we're going to be talking about Jordan Peele's new film, Us. Now, he previously directed Get Out, which was a great film. It was nominated for an Oscar, so everybody had their eyes on his next project, and he released Us. And this is a horror film. More gory than Get Out, but I was highly anticipating this movie. I was so curious about the idea for this movie. We're going to talk about everything about Us, and I'm going to try to not to spoil it for you guys. I'm going to do my best, so no spoilers in this video whatsoever. Let's start talking about Us. Not you and me per se, but just the movie. Now, Us is a roller coaster of a film. I had so many different emotions in this movie. Some good emotions, some bad emotions, some very confused emotions as well. But one thing I do gotta say about this movie is that it's an interesting concept. Jordan Peele had this idea for this movie and he just ran with it. And I love that at one point, he pitched the movie Get Out, and they're like, all right, let's do this thing, because he was known for his sketch comedies and comedy in general.
1/8 black.
Afternoon, my octoroon. Come on, bring it in there. Tuck that.
Yeah, I'm in there, dog. I'm in there, dog. I'm in there, dog.
You tucking it in there? But you tuck, though. But you tuck, though. You tuck it.
I'm in there.
And he wanted to do a horror film, and they took a gamble on it, and it worked. And now they have the movie Us. The idea for this movie that there are people out there that look just like you, these doppelgangers, is actually quite disturbing, and they think like you, they act like you. I do find the interactions between Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke to be very interesting because they are facing off against pretty much themselves. So the idea that you have to outsmart yourself and be better than yourself is an interesting concept, and I think I liked the idea for this movie more than the movie itself. I was really on board with the idea from this film, and I could tell where they were going with the movie from the very early scene, and they continued that idea that there are people out there that look just like you and you are your worst enemy. And I really liked the idea for this movie, and I think Jordan Peele did a great job writing this film and presenting the idea to us. We have Lupita Nyong'o in here, Winston Duke. He was from Black Panther last year, and the acting is outstanding in this movie. They do a great job of balancing being scared, but also trying to be brave, also having some comedic moments in here. But the standout in this movie is definitely Lupita Nyong'o. She did a great job in here balancing both the doppelganger as well as the human version of her. So she did a great job portraying both people, and her performance is very eerie, very disturbing, unsettling, and I love it. I really hope that she gets nominated for an Academy Award next year. We'll see what happens and what other movies come out. But her performance is that good. It's March, and I'm saying let's hand her an award already. It is one of the best horror performances I've seen in a long time, and I can't praise her performance enough. Now, like I said, this is more of a horror film compared to Get Out. There's a lot of blood, people are dying. It's just a straight up horror film. Now, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was kind of creeped out. You know, that scene where they're all just standing there and then they disperse, and it's very eerie, and the music that goes along with it accompanied it very well. So I was anticipating those scenes. There is some comedy in here, and at times I do feel like the comedy overshadows some of the horror aspects of the movie. And there's a scene early on in the movie where, you know, I'm anticipating something creepy to be happening, and previously there was a joke, and so I'm kind of like in the moment with the joke. It quickly turns into a horror moment, and I just didn't get that initial shock that I wanted to. I got that shock in the trailer, but it didn't translate over into the movie. So there's many times where I think that they didn't time the joke well enough with the horror moment, because I'm laughing. It quickly translates into a gory moment, and I just didn't feel that shock, that power from that scene, which I was really hoping it would, and it just kind of quickly came. There was no build up to the very first, shocking moments of this movie. The comedy did die out a little bit, but we do have Tim Heidecker in here, and anytime he does something in a movie, it's funny because of Tim and Eric, and so he could just be sitting there and I'd be laughing because he's hilarious. So once we get back to Tim Heidecker, there's some more comedy as well. Not like the comedy's bad. I do think some of the comedy is funny and natural. It just kind of overshadows some of the bloody, violent scenes that I was hoping to have like a true shocking moment. I just did not get that. Now, this movie is a movie where you have to watch it a couple times to get it, and I'm still kind of confused by the twist in this movie and the overall story. Because they had set up one thing and then they kind of just flipped it on its head at the end. So I'm really still processing the overall idea for this movie and the story that Jordan Peele wanted to create. I love the concept for this movie. I'm just still trying to process the ending. It's that bizarre, and it comes at you, and I really wanted to know more about it. So one thing I could say about this movie is it's a movie that makes you think. It's a movie that makes you want to go home, get online, search in Us Ending Explained, and try to decipher this movie. And that's what I plan on doing. I've done a little bit, and I'm still a little bit confused, so help me out down below. But it is a movie that gets you thinking, and that's what Jordan Peele wants people to do, is to think about this movie. And I love that, and I think he's a good storyteller, and I'm really curious to see what he does in the future. I do prefer Get Out over this, but if I'm in the mood to see a bloody, violent movie, I'm going to check out this film. And there is many things to love about this movie. I just have some issues with its pacing. There is some issues, with its pacing and how the comedy kind of overpowers some of the initial shocking moments in this movie. But overall, it is a very interesting movie. The acting is phenomenal, and it's a movie that I could say I had never seen before, and it got me thinking. It made me just think all about this movie afterwards, and I saw it with my best friend, and all the way home I'm just like, well, what about this? And he's like, no, well, what about this? And we're just bouncing ideas off of each other left and right, trying to think about the end and what this whole movie is about. So props to Jordan Peele for another great film. It is so crazy to me still that I used to watch the sketch comedy show with him, and he just came out with Get Out, and I was like, okay, let's see what this film's like, and it's crazy good. And now this movie, Us, is good too, and I would like to see him maybe do something different than a horror film, but if he wants to do another one like this, I'm on board. And now I'm patiently waiting for announcement for a third film from him. So let's see what you got, Jordan. I'm gonna go ahead and give Us a B+. Thank you guys for checking my review for Us. Stay tuned this weekend. I got reviews for Shazam and the new Netflix original film, The Dirt, Motley Crue biopic. You guys can check out my most recent video right over here. Make sure that subscribe button down below. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.